You see how Kenny Omega conducts himself on social media? That's one of the main reasons why the WWE is glad they didn't sign him. They have zero regrets on not signing him. In hindsight, look how he acts. Now, ain't that weird? The WWE was more interested in signing Cody Rose after AEW launched. But I haven't heard a peep out of them wanting Kenny Omega. Why is that? Hold on, I thought you said he was the best in the world. So they are interested in Jade Cargill, Wardlow, MJF, Hobbs, FTR of all people. But you haven't heard any noise about them wanting to sign back, or them wanting to sign in general Kenny Omega. Hell, there was rumors that the WWE is interested on bringing back Dean Ambrose, but we haven't heard a peep out of them possibly wanting to bring in Kenny Omega. Maybe they saw what I saw, what everybody saw. He's not that guy. It's like the fact that he's a god, right? Omega is a god to these marks, to these dorks, to these AW bots. He's a god, meaning he can't do nothing wrong. And here's why. I know this guy's timeline and his history on doing dumb shit for the past 4 years. I remember when Seth Rollins got trashed, he got buried just because he talked shit about Will Ospreay. Even though everything he said about Will Ospreay was actually right. But the dorks or marks turned on him to the point where he had no choice but to turn heel on TV because people didn't like him on social media. They thought he wasn't acting right because he was taking shots at AEW. He was taking shots at Will Ospreay, right? People turned on him. Then, I think like a year later, fucking NXT moves to the USA Network. So they start a war with AEW. Then Kenny Omega, he started talking shit about NXT. Saying that if I was on their show, all their top guys would be on Dark, would be in the Dark match, and I'll be in the main events on that show. That's what he said. He was not verbatim, but he said something very eerily similar to that, which it came across as a damn dick. So, T-Bar, Dominic Dijakovic, he chimed in. So he chimed in. Kenny Omega started talking shit about him. But how come he didn't get any flack for it? How come Seth Rollins did? So Omega can talk shit about T-Bar, but Seth can't talk shit about another outsider named Will Ospreay. You see what I'm saying? You see how biased it is when you work for the WWE? It's like you were the enemy. It's like you a god if you don't work for the WWE. It's like you qualify as anti-WWE if you don't work there. It's like you get a hall pass for everything you say. How come Omega did get a flack for it? You know the geeks that gave him a hall pass? You know the excuse that they made for him? They said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Kenny is in character. He is trying to transition to a character, so he's shooting now. He's a character now." I'm like, hold on, then how can you not know that Seth was playing a character when he was talking shit about Will Ospreay? How can you not tell that Seth was playing a character when he was shit talking AEW? But dude, there was no proof that Omega was trying to change his character. He has no character to fucking change. He has no character to fucking change. You don't hear me, man. I don't. What fucking character? They were saying, oh, he's playing a character. No, he was not, because you're saying, oh, he's trying to be a heel now. No, he was not. And here's why. When he made that statement, he wasn't a heel. He was a pure face. He didn't turn heel until fucking 6-7 months later. So what character was he playing? No, that was him being a dick. Because that's what he is in real life. He's a dick. He's a condescending, passive-aggressive, snide dick. Hence why Bruce Pritchard wants nothing to do with him. Let me say that again. Bruce Pritchard wants nothing to do with Kenny Omega. To the point where Bruce Pritchard said on his podcast he didn't know who Kenny Omega was. Then the fanboys, they called him out on that, saying that he was lying. Well, who cares if he is or he isn't? He don't fuck with Kenny Omega. Not now, at least. Especially not now. Kenny Omega might be the last guy ever for the WWE to ever even sign. Hell, they would sign CM Punk before signing Kenny Omega. Let that sink in. Because at least Punk has a fucking name that we know of. If you are casual. It's like, see the irony? Tony Khan said everybody who talks shit about AEW online is a bot that's being paid for, right? They are bots that people are paying for, right? Okay, by that logic, then how come every time Kenny Omega calls out somebody, for example, Disco Inferno, how come that person gets lit up on social media? Dude, I'm on Twitter and I'm saying like, damn, Disco Inferno is trending worldwide because Kenny Omega talks shit about him. Like, wow. So I'm looking at all these tweets, everybody is repeating themselves. Everybody is saying the same thing and repeating themselves, right? That sounds like a bot to me. Those sound like bots. Huh? How do you know Tony Khan ain't buying bots? How come he's not buying warrior bots when it comes to defending AEW? You don't know that, huh? Why did Tony Khan bring up bots? Maybe it's because he's buying bots. He's buying AEW warrior bots to defend his company. Because why is everybody repeating themselves when it comes to talking shit about Disco Inferno? It's getting really, really weird. That's fucking weird. Look down at his timeline. Go to Disco Inferno's Twitter page. Look at his timeline because he is retweeting all of his haters, right? All the AEW bots. They are repeating themselves like they're bots. Right? They don't sound no different from each other. They are repeating the same words, the same verbiage. That's all they're saying is Disco Inferno, he was a jobber. Cody Rose, he buried him back in 2018. Okay, we get it. Why are you repeating that same picture? You keep showing the same picture of Cody Rose burying Disco Inferno in a tweet. Okay, you and thousands of other people. Why are you repeating that in fucking threads? Why are you repeating the fact that you keep saying Disco Inferno didn't draw no dimes? Okay, we get it. Come up with something else. If that's your only dig at him, then that means you have nothing to fucking go on. That's all you can say? By your logic, the WWE, their whole roster is filled with Disco Infernos. By your logic, AEW has tons of Disco Infernos because they ain't drawing no damn dimes. Ooh, that hurts, don't it? That hurts, don't it? Who's drawing more dimes? A prime WCW TV champion, Disco Inferno? Or a prime Adam Hangman Page right now? Who is drawing more? You see? You can't keep repeating yourself. That's all you're saying. oh, he ain't no draw. He was a gimmick jobber. That's all he did was put guys over. He was a jobber, this, jobber that, jobber this, jobber that. Shut the fuck up. What else do you have? That's all you can think about? Like, dude, he was the first ever and the last jobber in professional wrestling history all of a sudden? So he was the only jobber in WCW. He was the only guy with a wild gimmick that you have ever seen in your whole entire life. That's your logic, right? My God, like, it's insane. It's literally insane how these AEW bots are repeating themselves. They keep saying, oh, you are a wrestler. Why are you talking shit about other wrestlers who are working hard at their craft? Do you need mental help? Think about that statement, right? Think about that bubble statement. Let me tell you why that is a bubble statement. By that logic, Charles Barkley should not be talking shit about other basketball players, huh? By your logic, Shaq should not be talking shit about other basketball players, but he does. Right? Get out of your fucking bubble. This is sports. TV networks, they pay former athletes to analyze basketball games, football games, any kind of sports games that they have experience of in that field. So obviously, they are going to reach out to a Charles Barkley, a Shaq, a Shannon Sharp, guys who have experience playing that sport that they are talking on. So they have every right to fucking critique that sport because they have experience in successful experiences. So I think you should take their advice. If I'm playing on a basketball team, I want to be coached by a guy who has experience playing basketball, right? Right? If I want to learn about wrestling inside and out, who am I going to listen to? Disco Inferno or some neckbeard behind a fucking keyboard who has Kenny Omega posters on his fucking wall fucking jerking off? Who am I gonna take seriously? Come on. Who am I gonna take seriously? Disco Inferno or that midget from New York? Who am I gonna listen to? Disco Inferno or that solo monster guy from New York? Who am I gonna listen to? Who am I gonna listen to? A dreadlock Kermit the Frog sounding voice geek? Or I'm gonna listen to Disco Inferno, a guy who been in the business? And this notion of, oh, this is why Vince Russo and Disco Inferno are not signed anywhere. Look here, bitch. You see, you don't know shit. You are a liar. I fucks with Vince Russo. Vince Russo said he doesn't want to sign with no company. Oh, yes, but you don't know that because you hate him and you don't watch his show. But I watch his show. He wants nothing to do with wrestling. The only reason he covers wrestling is because his fans want him to cover wrestling. He hates wrestling. He does not like wrestling. He talks about it because his fans want him to. In fact, his goal was to quit talking about wrestling once he reached the age of 60 years old. Right? So, bruh, he said he's retired. He said he doesn't want to sign anywhere. So, why are you pushing out false narratives? Disco Inferno, he has worked for Impact Wrestling multiple times. So how can you say nobody wants to sign him? Huh? Dude, he has trained multiple wrestlers. He trained Killer Cross. He has trained multiple wrestlers, bruh. He is a wrestling trainer. It's like, no, bruh. Wrestling companies are not bitter. They are not fanboys. They will sign anybody who has knowledge about the business. They don't care about their reputation. Okay? Disco Inferno, he ain't hurt nobody. He ain't killed nobody. He ain't wrestling little girls like Omega. Who is he hurting? He has a voice about wrestling. It's like Jim Cornette. Bruh, the NWA signed him. Multiple companies have signed Jim Cornette, even though he has a wild mouth when it comes to wrestling, but companies, they love Jim Cornette. Dude, the only reason Jim Cornette got ousted by the NWA because there was pressure on getting him out based on what he said in a match. But overall, he would have still been there. This dude worked for NWA, Impact, WWE, WCW, fucking MLW. Like, he worked everywhere. So what are you saying? You don't know shit. Like, don't say lying verbiage like that, bro. I saw that online. I'm like, bro, that's a bold-faced lie. Saying, oh, this is the reason nobody wants to hire Disco Inferno and Vince Russo, bro. Couple of years back, fucking Disco Inferno had a match with Scarlett Bordeaux in Impact Wrestling. So, and Disco was the same guy. He was still saying the same shit back then. In fact, his gimmick was back then that he hated women's wrestling. That wasn't his gimmick in Impact Wrestling. So, what are you saying? In fact, companies signed him because he has heat with you fucking dorks. How about that? He gets hired by people because you hate him. Because he draws heat. Obviously, he does. He's trending right now on Twitter. Because you dorks and geeks don't like him. But let's get back to this Kenny Omega guy. Bro, this dude walks on water, man. It's like, bro, he wrestled multiple Japanese women, grown women, little kids. Can you imagine Roman Reigns wrestling a 10-year-old Japanese girl? Would he be where he's at now? Would Vince McMahon look at him the same way if he had that kind of a fucking background? Of course not. You see, with Kenny Omega, the WWE, they didn't do their homework on him, right? They didn't do their due diligence by Kenny Omega. They didn't do their homework. They didn't know that he wrestled small little girls in his past. They didn't know he was having weirdo matches in fucking DDT. They didn't know that. All they saw was the Kenny Omega from the fucking Bullet Club. But if they would have found out about his past, they wouldn't have touched him. So let that sink in. Look, if Kenny Omega were to sign with the WWE, he wouldn't last a year. Seriously, he would quit. Maybe within a month. He would quit. He ain't got the mental capacity to last in the WWE. He's a sensitive guy. He wouldn't last. So it's a blessing he didn't sign there. He is too mentally weak to sign with the WWE. He ain't Cody Rose. Dude, this is the same guy that almost got ran out the business by Bill DeMott, aka Hugh Morris. He got almost ran out the business because Bill DeMott was too hard on him. But hold on, do you know who else he was hard on? He was hard on fucking Luchasaurus. Remember that? He used to be in fucking NXT. But he fucking flunked out because he couldn't handle NXT. He couldn't handle Hugh Morris. And now look where he's at. He's in AEW with Kenny Omega. That's irony. That's irony. I guess that's where all the simps go. That's where all the softies go, which is AEW. That's where all they go. That's where all the soft people go. So that is no surprise. But, dude, if the WWE had a do-over, knowing what they know now about Kenny Omega, if they had a choice, they would sign a prime Disco Inferno over a prime Kenny Omega. Seriously. And here's why. Bruce Pritchard was a huge fan of Disco Inferno. When WCW folded, they wanted to sign Disco Inferno, but he didn't want to sign there. But they were very interested in Disco Inferno, but he didn't want to sign there. Hey, that was his choice, but hey, Bruce Pritchard, he saw him as a big money guy. He thought he can get major heat on Raw or SmackDown. He had potential, he had charisma, a character, a gimmick. He could talk. You could put him as a manager or as a wrestler. Either way, he wasn't one-dimensional. But with Kenny Omega, like, bro, he's very one-dimensional. If he is not wrestling 25-minute matches, what is he good for? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. He ain't good for shit. What is he good for? He can't talk. He sucks at fucking promos. He is trash at promos too. He has no character. This dude has low charisma. Low charisma. Dude, making dumb faces and fucking prancing around during your matches, that ain't charisma. Okay? Jumping around like you are the fucking Ultimate Warrior, that ain't charisma. Okay? You ain't the warrior, bro. He has no charisma, he has no character. And here's the thing. AEW has been the same since he's left. Seriously. Their shows have been the same. They have not gotten better. They have stayed the same. In fact, hold on. In fact, actually, wait a minute. Let me take that back. AEW shows have gotten better since he's left. Bruh, he is not a needle mover. Like, that's more irony. How the hell your ass gonna say Disco Inferno didn't draw dimes? What the fuck kind of dime is Omega drawing? Nothing. Like, huh? AEW they are doing the same numbers whether he's on a show or not. They are doing the same ticket sales whether he's on a show or not. So what dimes is Omega drawing? Nothing. And dude, what is your definition on who draws and who doesn't? Like, nobody knows. It's a trendy term to say, oh, you don't draw nothing, you don't draw no dimes. Well, how can you tell? You don't know these fans, right? You don't know why they watch. You don't know why they buy tickets to watch these shows. You don't know why they go to these shows, right? All right. For example, let's say I buy a ticket to watch Monday Night Nitro. What if I'm a huge fan of freaking Booker T? That means I bought that ticket to watch the mid-Carter Booker T. Right? Around that time. Back in 98? Right? So wouldn't he count as a draw if I have a ticket just to watch him wrestle? Wouldn't that make him a draw because he drew me in? Right? So how can you say Disco ain't no damn draw? He has some kind of fan base. Dude, every guy on the card has a fan base. Buff Bagwell, Scott Steiner, Eddie G, Dean, Perry Satter, Billy Kidman. Everybody had a fan base, so you can't say Disco didn't draw no dimes. Jericho had a fan base, so how can you say he didn't draw dimes? You can't tell. How do you know Sting wasn't drawing dimes? You can't tell. Who was drawing the most money on WCW TV? You can't tell. Was it Hogan? Goldberg? Luger? Nash? You can't tell. How can you separate who's a damn draw if we are all on the show at the same time? By your logic, what if Mike Tyson, Floyd, Evander Holyfield, Conor McGregor, what if they all were on the same show in their prime? Who is going to draw the most money? How can you tell who's drawing the most money if all those guys are popular on the same level, right? Joe Louis, Ali. What if they were on the same show at the same time? How can you tell who's the bigger draw if they are on the same show at the same time? You see what I'm saying? Inferno was wrestling on shows that were averaging 4 million views, 2 million, 3 million, right? In the mid-card. So how can you tell he was enjoying that? You can't tell. How? You had no proof. You're just saying that just to say something. It's like, nobody in AW should be saying who draws and who don't. Nobody is a draw on that card. The numbers dictate that. Nobody's a draw. So how can you say Disco 8 wasn't no draw? You can't tell. Seriously, you can't tell. It's like Raven, fucking DDP. Those guys were great wrestlers. A lot of people paid money to see those guys, and I'm one of them. So and they were in the mid card. So by your logic, they weren't drawing dimes. See what I'm saying? You see how W sound? Who is a draw? It's factually impossible to know who's a draw unless it is a one match card. You see what I'm saying now? In order to tell who draws and who don't, it has to be a one match card. Everybody has a fan base on every card. If you put Drew McIntyre in the mid card, are you saying people didn't pay to see Drew McIntyre? How can you tell? He's in the mid card, but he does have a fan base, right? You see, people like to say you ain't draw no dimes, but you have no factual evidence to say otherwise. You see, on this channel, I speak facts and evidence. I speak from a logical standpoint, right? So, what I'm saying is, the WWE would choose a prime Disco Inferno over a prime Kenny Omega any day of the fucking week. It's not even close. Look at what he's doing in AW. Are you saying a prime Disco Inferno who had great size, by the way? I think he was like, what, 6'2", about 240? He was a big, buff, jacked up dude with a great look. He has a way better look than Kenny Omega. So, are you saying Disco Inferno on the same channel that he was on, he wouldn't draw just as much money as Kenny Omega? What is Omega drawing? Nothing. They are drawing the same numbers before he was champion and after he left. You see what I'm saying? See, they don't want to tell you that, but I am. Dude, in my humble opinion, I would take Disco Inferno over Omega any day of the week if I was trying to build up a big card or a main card, because Disco can talk, he has a good look, and he can wrestle. See, y'all fucking forgot about that. Inferno could actually wrestle back in his prime. He was a really good wrestler. Just, bro, he was in a tough era. Bro, he was in a tough era with tough guys. He was with tons of future Hall of Famers. There are no future Hall of Famers in AW, bro. Like, huh? You serious? Dude, put a prime Disco Inferno in AW. He would be a top guy. No questions asked. That's it. I'm done.